The Leo Destiny, Season 1, Episode 10. Another morning has arrived in this beautiful city. Brian was sleeping inside the house. Suddenly, he heard someone knocking on the door. He got up from the bed. There was still a knock on the door. While going to the door of the house, Brian shouted loudly, "I'm here. Wait a minute." When Brian reached the back door, he looked out through the peephole in the door. Brian saw Jock standing behind the door with all his belongings and a bag, waiting for Brian to open the door. As soon as Brian opened the door for Jocks entered the house and said to Brian, "Get out of the way next to the kid." While Brian was looking at Jocks in surprise, Jocks entered one of the rooms and started arranging his personal belongings. Brian went to the front door of that room and said to Jocks in surprise, "What are you doing, giant boy?" Jocks said to Brian, "I like this room. This is mine from now on." Brian said, "But..." Jocks interrupted Brian's conversation and said, "Don't make excuses, little one. We have a lot of work to do for our new garage." Brian said, "But for the garage still." Jocks interrupted Brian again and said, "Take this," and threw a pickaxe at Brian. While Jocks threw the pickaxe easily with one hand, the pickaxe was so heavy that Brian could barely hold it with both hands. Jocks said, "We need to remove some walls from inside my house to have space to repair some cars." Leo had just woken up and heard the voices of Brian and Jocks from his window. A few moments later, the sound of Jocks and Brian hitting the wall of the house could be heard. When Leo got dressed and walked out the door, he saw Jack standing in front of the basement door, and jokingly said to Leo, "Finally, they also understood that there is nothing better than construction." Leo jokingly said, "Apparently, a contagious madness has entered the neighborhood." Leo went to the bus stop. After waiting for a while at the bus station, he boarded the bus. The bus radio was on and Leo was sitting near the driver's seat. Leo noticed that on the radio, the news was talking about last night's events at the drinks festival. In the news, it was said that the events of last night were due to the bad weather, and there is no reason to worry. Please, people, do not pay attention to rumors. After hearing the news, the driver said, "You have to be more careful these days." Leo arrived at his workplace, and after several hours of work, he finally left his workplace in the evening. Before going home, he went to Diego's cafe to ask about Diego's brother and Diego's brother's wife. When he arrived at Cafe Diego, he saw a police car parked in front of the cafe. When he was looking at the police car with surprise, he heard Diego's voice from inside the cafe saying, "Come in, Santiago is here." Leo went into the cafe and started talking with Diego and Santiago. Leo asked what happened at the festival last night. "We were all worried about you," Santiago said. "By the way, Mariana said that last night, you tried to make Mariana not worry. Thank you, and your friends." And then he said, "They didn't give us clear information about the beach, but nothing special happened until we were there in the morning." Diego said to Santiago, "Leo apparently heard strange noises there." Santiago said that usually when the sea is rough, a group of whales may come close to the shore. It was probably their voice. After some small talk, Diego brought 3 iced caramel mojitos and they started drinking. Next, Leo briefly talked about Brian's garage. Santiago said he knows the original owner of that garage. He is an important person, and you cannot fall in front of him. He suggested that considering the shooting incident, it would be better for Brian to hand over the garage. Santiago said he would help Brian get his money from the garage owner within the next month. He just needs to vacate the garage peacefully so that the garage owner doesn't mess with Brian. Leo thanked Santiago for his advice. He also thanked Diego for the drink. After saying goodbye, he returned to his neighborhood to go home. When he arrived at the neighborhood, he saw that Jacques, Brian, and Jack were sitting on some chairs in front of Jacques' house, drinking and relaxing. Jacques' house almost looks like a garage, but they still need to work on it. Leo told Brian what Santiago said. Brian was happy to hear that there was a possibility of getting his money back from the garage owner and thanked Leo. Due to the darkness, they lit a battery-powered lamp next to their chairs and sat together with Z for a while, talking and laughing. They were almost like a family to each other. The rest of the locals also liked them, and because of this, they were not upset with their constructions. After some time, they went to their homes.